Okay. So, next topic naman natin is audit sampling. So, napahapyawan na natin to kanina doon sa performing substantive testing. Basically, this is actually 16 pages, no? Pero ang importante lang po dito, guys, is up to... Okay, dito lang yung i-discuss natin. Okay. I think hanggang page 5 lang. Okay, hindi na importante yung iba kasi it's more of an statistics. Okay, so if in case meron akong makita na questions related to number 6, page 6 to onwards, I will disregard it, guys. Yung important points lang sa audit sampling ang gagawin natin because again, auditing is not statistics. Okay? So, focus lang tayo doon sa main points lang po ng audit sampling. Okay. So, audit sampling. So, again, what do we need kapag gumagawa tayo ng audit sampling? So, audit sampling involves yung pag-gather ng evidence, anong percentage ng evidence or transactions yung kukunin ninyo para ma-support yung inyong auditor's opinion. So, we have two types of sampling, yung statistical sampling, and number 2 is yung non-statistical sampling. So, pag sinabi natin statistical sampling, gumagamit tayo ng statistics, syempre. Okay? Pwedeng random selection or gumagamit tayo ng probability theory. When you say random selection, mamili ka lang, pero at random. Like, kuha ka lang ng kuha kung doon sa population ng evidence, kuha ka lang ng sample. Pag probability theory naman, may certain percentage ka nang kukunin doon sa inyong population and then you will use that to support yung inyong auditor's opinion. While for non-statistical sampling, this has no characteristics at all. Okay? Sige. So, punta tayo sa sampling risk. Ano yung sampling risk? It is a risk that the auditor's conclusion based on the sample may be different from the conclusion if the entire population was subjected to same audit procedure. Okay? So, the auditor is concerned two aspects of sampling risk in performing test of controls. Okay. So, review muna tayo. Kasi, diba? Ang audit risk natin is equals to your inherent risk times detection risk times control risk times your detection risk. Ano yung inherent risk? Inherent means normal doon sa account na meron talagang risk. Okay? While your control risk is the effectivity, it says talks about the effectivity of your internal control sa pagdetect ng risk. While for your detection risk ito naman po yung ability ng auditor para if in case may nakalusot sa internal control ng company, makahanap ba ni auditor yung mali or yung fraud yung tinatawag natin. Okay. So, number 1, the risk of assessing control risk is too low. Okay. So, control risk, ibig sabihin nagkaroon na tayo ng test of controls. Pag mababa yung control risk na set natin, ang mangyayari is that it will lead to an inappropriate opinion. It is because pag mababa ang control risk, ibig sabihin it's as if pwede tayo magtiwala sa internal control. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, affected yung substantive testing mo. Yung substantive testing mo, yun yung ginagawa mo as an auditor para maging basis ng opinion. Kaya, pag mababa ang inyong control risk, it will lead to an inappropriate opinion kasi again, your control risk is one of the basis ng inyong substantive testing at yung substantive testing ang basis ninyo sa auditor's opinion. Okay? Pangalawa, if you assess the control risk too high, ito daw, yung control risk masyadong mataas. Ibig sabihin, kahit okay naman yung internal control, sinabi mo na ineffective siya. So, kapag ineffective ang internal control, syempre, magiging maingat sa auditor. Didagdag trabaho. Kaya sabi, it will lead to additional work to establish that initial conclusions are incorrect. Okay? Dagdag trabaho, mabusisi yung gagawin mong pag-audit. Kasi nga sabi mo, hindi nga effective yung internal control ng company. Okay. Next. In performing substantive test of details, so pag sinabi nating test of details, mabusisi. Tinitignan yung general ledger accounts, okay? So number 1, risk of incorrect acceptance. Ibig sabihin, may natanggap kang evidence pero hindi naman siya relevant dun sa iyong ino-audit or sa assertion na chine-check mo. Okay? Mangyayari, it affects your audit effectiveness and would lead to an inappropriate opinion. Kasi again, irrelevant yung evidence na nakuha mo. Inaccept mo rather. Okay? Pangalawa, the risk of incorrect rejection. Meron kang evidence na akala mo hindi naman related pero related naman pala. So ano ang magiging result niyan? Mangyayari, kailangan mo magtrabaho ng additional kasi meron ka nang tamang evidence, pinakawalan mo pa or ni-reject mo pa, 'di ba? Mga ganin nyo, 'di ba? It will lead to additional work. Okay. Non-sampling risk. Okay, so ano naman yung non-sampling risk? This includes all aspects of the audit risk that are not due to sampling. So ano bang example ng mga yun? For example is, yung environment mismo ng inyong auditee. Hindi naman yun related sa sampling kasi wala naman tayong ginagather na population doon or transactions, okay? Pero consider just non-sampling risk kasi kapag ikaw ay tinitingnan ng inyong auditee, na-intimidate kayo, okay? So, what else? Audit sampling plan. So, this is an example of an audit sampling plan. So, meron tayong mga attribute sampling, variable sampling. Mamaya madidiscuss natin yan. Okay. So, pag sinabi nating attribute sampling, this is applicable for your test of control. So, ano ba yung steps sa attribute sampling? Number 1, ano ba yung objectives ng plan? Define the population and sampling unit. Kasi again, hindi naman pwedeng 100% ng population yung i-audit natin. And then, identify the attribute and deviation conditions. When you say attribute, characteristics of control that provides evidence that an internal control procedure was actually performed. So, for example, internal control procedure was performed. So, for example, bank reconciliation. Ang internal control procedure doon is the bank reconciliation. Ano yung attribute or characteristics ng control? Sa bank reconciliation ba, nare-reconcile natin yung balance ng books at saka ng bank. Ibig sabihin, meron silang congruency or yung tama ba yung gawa ng bank reconciliation ng accountant. Okay. Deviation is the absence of an attribute that occurs when the sampling item does not have one or more of identified attributes. Okay. Determine the sample size. Na-discuss na natin in our previous video kung paano nagde-determine ng sample size. So, kapag mababa yung risk of assessing, yung control risk natin, yung sample size natin will also be mababa ang control risk. Ibig sabihin, effective yung internal control. Kung effective yung internal control, yung sample size ninyo dapat mababa din. So again, yung control risk ninyo mababa, ano ba ang mangyayari sa sample size ninyo? There is an inverse relationship between risk and the sample size. The higher the acceptable risk, the smaller the sample size. Okay. Medyo magulo yung sinabi niya dito sa statement. Sabi niya dito, risk kasi. Okay? Dapat dito direct relationship between the risk and the sample size. Direct kasi ang pinag-iisapan natin dito yung control risk mo. Kaso ang sinabi niya sa pangalawang sentence is acceptable. Pag sinabing acceptable, yung tolerable risk ni accountant yun. So kapag mataas ang tolerance natin, mababa lang yung sample size na kukunin natin. Okay? Kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito sa acceptable risk is tolerance. Okay? Pero pag sinabi nating risk lang, ano yung risk, 'di ba? Pag mataas ang risk, mataas din dapat ang sample size kasi ibig sabihin kung mataas ang control risk, mahina ang effect ang internal control niyan. Kaya kinlarify niya dun sa second sentence. Acceptable risk pala yung pinag-uusapan. Kung mataas yung acceptance mo or acceptable risk mo, yung sample size mo is pwedeng mababa na lang. Like for example, sa set of transactions, ang mga transactions mo is, sige, i-reject ko na lahat ng, kunwari, kailangan i-audit mo ay 5,000 and up. Okay. Pag sinabing mataas ang acceptable risk mo, magiging 10,000 and up yung kailangan. Yun lang yung i-audit mo. So, yung sample size mo, syempre, hindi nakasama yung 10K and below, yung sample size mo, liliit na. Okay? Kasi nga, tumaas na yung tolerance mo na ang magiging material lang sa'yo, 10K from the 5K. Okay. Ano pa ba? Okay. So, punta tayo dito sa mga factors, effect on sample size at saka reasons. So, for example, ang factor natin is an increase in the extent to which the auditor's risk assessment takes into account relevant controls. Ano daw? Okay. So, ibig sabihin, gusto daw ni auditor na taasan yung kanyang risk assessment para ma-ensure na yung account has relevant controls. So, yung sample size, since gusto niya mabusisi, tataasan niya yung sample size. Pangalawa, an increase in the tolerable rate of deviation. Okay, pag tumaas yung tolerable rate of deviation mo, tumaas yung tolerable, inaalaw na magpagkakamali, yung sample size mo magiging decrease. Pangalawa, increase in the expected rate of deviation of the population to be tested. Okay? So, kung tumaas yung chance na may mali dun sa population or dun sa in-audit mong account, tataasan mo din yung sample size mo. Okay? What else? An increase in the auditor's desired level of assurance. O gusto mo, mataas yung assurance level. So, dapat yung sample size mo mataas din. Increased number of sampling units in the population, negligible effect. Kasi, bakit? Walang effect yung number ng population. Ang effect lang natin talaga is yung dinedetermine mo na sample from the population. Okay? So, determine the method of sampling selection. Na-discuss na natin yan. Random sampling, mamili ka lang. Wala kang order na gagawin. Systematic selection, like for example, magagawa ka ng threshold. Or pwedeng, ako usually ginagawa ko dito, first 6 months, hindi, first 3 months and then I include the first 3 months ng preceding year. So, kunwari, ang ino-audit ko ay 2024, ini-include ko pa yung transactions ng January, February, at March. Okay, pwedeng ganun. Okay, what else? Monetary sampling unit, yung diniscuss natin kanina, gawa tayo ng threshold. Lahat ng transactions na 10K and up, yun lang yung i-audit natin. Haphazard selection, the auditor selects sample without following a structured technique. Okay? No structured technique. Okay, block selection, like for example, mamili lang tayo from the set of our suppliers, lahat ng accounts payable na binayaran natin ng taon. Ang pipiliin lang natin is from supplier A, B, C. Okay, disregard na natin yung iba. Pwedeng block selection yun. Or pwede rin namang by month. Ang pipiliin ko lang i-audit January, February, March, December, October to December. Yun lang. Okay? Next is stratified random sampling. So you are subdividing the population into subpopulation or strata. Like for example, by monetary value, lahat ng below 10K, 10K to 30K, 30K to 40K. From each strata, kukuha tayo ng sample. Okay? Ano pa ba ang importante dito? Yung computation, hayaan nyo na yan. Hindi nyo po trabaho yan. Statistician po may trabaho yan. Okay? I think yun lang. Yun lang for audit sampling.